Imagine a world where evil lurks in the shadows, where monsters walk among us disguised as ordinary people. Today, we read diving into the dark underbelly of humanity to uncover the most chilling serial killers you've never heard of. A police officer sworn to protect and serve is secretly hunting his prey. You'll hear about a Brazilian man who started his killing spree at the tender age of 14, and a Chinese drifter who claimed more lives than Jack the Ripper. This is the story of Mikhail Popkov, known as the Werewolf, who terrorized Siberia from 1992 to 2010, but he's just the beginning of our twisted journey. These aren't your typical household names like Bundy or Dahmer. No, these are the forgotten predators, the ones who slipped through the cracks of infamy. In just 6 months in 1999, Iqbal confessed to sexually abusing and murdering 100 boys aged 6 to 16. His motive? Revenge against the police for previous arrests. From 1967 to 2003, Filho claimed to have killed over 100 people, including his own father. Yang would break into homes at night, killing everyone inside with axes, hammers, and shovels. His victim count reached 65, spanning for provinces. Yang's motives were chillingly simple. He enjoyed the thrill of killing. When caught, he showed no remorse, stating he had no desire to be part of society. Their combined victim count exceeds 500, a number that's hard to fathom. Each of these killers operated in different parts of the world with varying motives and methods, but they all share one thing in common: a complete disregard for human life. What makes Filho unique is that most of his victims were other criminals, drug dealers, rapists, and murderers. Ahmad Siraji's belief in supernatural powers gained through murder shows how twisted ideologies can lead to unimaginable atrocities. They challenge our understanding of human nature and the depths of depravity some individuals can reach. While it's natural to want to turn away from such horror, understanding these cases can help us recognize warning signs and potentially prevent future tragedies. Javed Iqbal's targeting of children and his gruesome disposal methods speak to a level of depravity that's hard to comprehend. Behind each number is a life cut short, a family devastated, a community shaken. While these killers may not be household names, their impact on countless lives is immeasurable. He even killed fellow inmates while in prison, claiming to be on a mission to rid the world of bad people. Yang Xinhai's random selection of victims and his enjoyment of the act of killing itself paint a picture of a true psychopath. Tsutomu Miyazaki's crimes, influenced by media and involving young children, highlight the potential dangers of obsession and isolation. Iqbal's methods were particularly gruesome. He would strangle his victims, dismember their bodies, and dissolve them in acid. In a twisted act of showmanship, he sent letters to the police and newspapers detailing his crimes before turning himself in. Between 1988 and 1989, Miyazaki abducted and murdered for young girls aged 2 to 7. From 1994 to 1995, Sithole raped and murdered at least 38 women, luring them with promises of employment. It's a sobering thought, but one that reminds us to stay vigilant, to look out for one another, and to never underestimate the capacity for both good and evil that exists within the human heart. He would lead his victims to secluded fields, where he would rape, strangle, and sometimes stab them. Sithole's crimes sparked terror in South Africa, with women afraid to travel alone or accept job offers. His crimes were not just murders, but also involved acts of cannibalism and necrophilia. Miyazaki would send letters to the victims' families, taunting them with details of the murders. His apartment was found filled with thousands of videotapes, many containing anime and slasher films, which he claimed influenced his crimes. And they're all true. So, buckle up and prepare yourself for a descent into the darkest corners of the human psyche. This is the most evil serial killers you have never heard of, but make no mistake, their crimes are just as horrific, if not more so. Picture this, a small town in Russia where women are disappearing without a trace. We'll take you across the globe, from the mystical islands of Indonesia to the bustling streets of Pakistan, where killers with unimaginable motives stalked their victims. These aren't just stories, their nightmares come to life. Let's start with Mikhail Popkov, the Russian cop-turned-killer. From 1992 to 2010, he prowled the streets of Angarsk, using his police uniform to gain his victims' trust. Between 1986 and 1997, Saraji lured 42 young women to their deaths with promises of magical powers. His method was as bizarre as it was cruel. Saraji would bury his victims up to their waists and strangle them, believing their deaths would increase his own supernatural abilities. He then reburied the bodies around his home, all facing his sugarcane plantation. Popkov would offer women rides home from bars or clubs, only to drive them to secluded areas where he would rape and murder them with axes, knives, or screwdrivers. His victim count, a staggering 78 confirmed, with potentially more undiscovered. Popkov's reign of terror earned him the nickname, the Werewolf of Siberia. But Popkov isn't alone in his brutality. Let's travel to Indonesia, where we find Ahmad Siraji, a cattle breeder and self-proclaimed sorcerer. Our next stop takes us to Pakistan, where Jay Iqbal committed one of the most horrific series of crimes in the country's history. Now we head to Brazil, where Pedro Rodrigues Filho, known as Pedrinho Matador or Killer Petey, began his life of crime at just 14 years old. Our journey takes a turn to China, where Yang Shenhai, the monster killer, terrorized the countryside from 2000 to 2003. In Japan, we encountered Tsutomu Miyazaki, the otaku murderer. Our final stop is South Africa, where Moses Sithole earned the moniker, the ABC Killer, due to the locations of his crimes: Atteridgeville, Boksburg, and Cleveland. These 7 individuals represent some of the most prolific and disturbing serial killers in recent history. Mikhail Popkov's abuse of his position as a police officer to commit his crimes adds an extra layer of betrayal to his already heinous acts. Pedro Rodrigues Filho's vigilante-style killings raise complex questions about justice and morality. Finally, Moses Sithole's exploitation of women's hopes for employment in post-apartheid South Africa shows how societal conditions can be manipulated by those with evil intentions. These stories serve as a grim reminder that evil can exist anywhere, often hiding in plain sight. As we conclude this chilling journey through the darkest corners of humanity, it's important to remember the victims. The next time you hear about a famous serial killer case, remember that there are many more lurking in the shadows of history, their stories untold but no less horrifying.